It don't make it okay. She hurt that boy's feelings. Did you see his face?
Of course I saw his face. Okay, should I have waited? I just didn't want him to get so excited about a phone that he couldn't keep. Was I wrong?
No, you wasn't wrong. No, she should have asked you if you were okay with Christian having a phone. Why are you supposed to wait?
That is definitely a gift you ask a parent about beforehand.
All of this craziness on the internet? No. Christian is too young.
Okay, folks, well, Laura was scolded by Calvin for causing a scene at Christian's birthday party by hurting his feelings and leaving because of the whole phone debacle. And in my personal opinion, I'm just sitting here thinking like, you know what? Even if Laura had stayed after the phone was returned to her, and I think I did a YouTube short on this subject about who hurt Christian's feelings more, Laura by leaving or his parents, specifically his mom Miranda, by making him give the phone back. The one thing he wanted on his birthday more than anything else, even though his parents told him he couldn't have it. I honestly think things would have... I know people think I'm like a Laura apologist. I don't love the character. I don't like how they ruin her character. Laura was never a fan favorite because the moment she was introduced, this was the character who was preventing Calvin and Miranda from getting back together. And on top of that, she came across as bougie, materialistic, and not the right fit for Calvin. Not to mention it felt like they speed ran their relationship. But Laura, I feel, deserves better. And I just feel like she is being made into a punching bag just for the sake of, oh yeah, her departure from the show is inevitable. And no, I know that she's leaving in the next episode with her dad, but I don't think this is the last we've seen of her. Way too early in the season for that as far as I'm concerned. But I think what they're doing here is Laura cannot win at all. For example, hypothetically speaking, Christian gets the phone back because his parents say he can't have it. All right? So he gets the phone back. Laura puts it back in the bag. She's still sitting like on the couch or whatever. The gifts continue. Think about it from a kid's perspective. It does not matter how many more gifts you have left to open or who gives you those gifts. Because if I remember correctly, Jasmine gave the first gift, and I believe it was a video game, and Junior was like, hey, that's the new game you were telling me about. So, you know, that's something they can enjoy together. Cool stuff. Whew. I'm sorry. Like, this is mentally taking me back. Look, I haven't had, like, you know, someone give me an expensive gift. Somebody told me no. It's just that I'm low-key getting excited because what? Christmas is right around the corner. So just talking about this whole thing it's fun. Honestly, and look, just side tangent, the return of House of Payne and being able to have these great discussion topics, I haven't felt like this in months on this channel. You know, maybe a little bit on my other channel I talk Beyond the Gates, but there's something that this show is reigniting in me that Sisters and The Oval just hasn't. So just happy to do this subject. But look at it from Christian's perspective. Every gift he gets from that point on, from Aunt Ella and Uncle Curtis, CJ and Janine, maybe Floyd sent something, or most importantly, the gifts from Miranda, his parents, Miranda and Calvin. It does not matter what they give that boy. It could be another video game. You know, what it Junior say he's a square. One of his, you know, a book he might have, they felt he would enjoy. You know, some clothes with like his favorite fictional characters on it. It would not matter what he got from that point on. He would have a look of disappointment on his face. And his parents would be like, hey, what do you say? Thank you. Because the boy literally had what he wanted the most ripped away from him. Seriously, it's like if you were if it was your birthday or Christmas or whatever, and I don't know, ladies, maybe somebody gave you like a $5,000 necklace, or fellas, what if somebody gave you, your favorite vehicle, like, your dream vehicle. But then somebody's like, no, you can't have it. And then it gets taken away. And then like you have to continue opening gifts. But none of those gifts compare. It's like, I've used this example many times in videos, but it's like getting a burger from Five Guys, eating that sucker and just being like, And then the next time you go, instead of that same level of quality burger, we're talking like a stale bun, thin as a promise, slab, a beef patty, basically a McDonald's burger. I'm not even talking about a Big Mac or I mean like a generic cheeseburger that looks like, ugh. That's essentially what Christian would have felt, because he would be upset, not at Laura, but he would be upset at his parents. But there's no doubt in my mind the way that Miranda, Ella, Jasmine, and Janine talked about Laura after the party was over. I have no doubt in my mind that if Laura had stayed and Christian continued to open gifts, and he would have been rightfully sad. Look, I get it, his parents don't, but he is a child. He wouldn't be thinking the way you and I would as full-grown adults. I think so, yeah. My age demographic on the channel is like 30 and above. There are some people in their late teens and 20s, but most people are 30 and above. So you got to think of it from that perspective. And I know a lot of your parents. So you're probably like, yeah, he better appreciate those gifts. Well, he's not. He's a child. It doesn't matter if he has 50 gifts. Like, he has friends who came to the party. We had a bunch of extra people in the back of the house and outside in the backyard. Oh, he probably had like 20 different gifts. But guess what? Nobody gave him a phone except Miss Laura. And low key, Laura will probably be sitting there like thinking to herself like, dang, that's a nice gift, but it ain't no $1,600 phone. So low key, she might be a little bit on her high horse. Maybe she feels some kind of way about her gift being returned, so to speak. But at the very end of it, she could at least say like, hey, at least Christian loves me more because I got him what he wanted, but his parents made him give it up. And some people are like, I bet she only got him that phone to score brownie points. Who cares? She was doing it to get Christian. What? Christian loves that woman. I know she isn't the easiest person to love, but whatever. But I think that, and look, I know you can say what you will about money can't buy love, but this woman scraped together $1,600 for the one thing that her future stepson wanted on his birthday. If it isn't love, why does she feel this way? But I just think that after the party was over, I think Laura would have been the topic of conversation, because you know why? Ella, Curtis. Well, let's just talk mainly about the ladies. Ella, Janine, Miranda, all of them would be in their feelings because Christian would not have had a good reaction to their gifts because of Laura buying that phone. And they would have placed the blame on her. Like Miranda would have been like, well, Laura didn't she didn't come to me or Calvin first to talk about getting Christian a phone. And then we had to take it away, and now we're the bad guys. Yeah, and he didn't even appreciate our gifts. That's just how the Paynes are. And I got aunties just like that. Like, I think people can relate to this. You go to church and whatnot. Maybe your mom, your aunt, one of your favorite older people at the church. Like, they seem all nice. Like, they'll talk, shake hands, hug, whatever. But as soon as a certain person walks out, they will talk trash right there. I'm like, what the? But I thought they were just hugging. So why is she talking crap about Sister Martha like that? That's Laura cannot win for losing. She can't. And like I said, I'm not trying to be a full-on Laura apologist, but I honestly think even if Laura stayed at the party, Christian's reaction would have been miserable because his parents took away that phone. Now, I have no doubt that perhaps even after Laura left and he continued to open gifts, his demeanor was not that of a happy little boy. And like I said before, had she have stayed and he continued opening gifts, he'd be like, thank you, Grandma Ella. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Dad. Because none of those gifts were that phone. And it's like, boy, if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. They would blame Laura. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one. Because, hey, it's like I said in one of my shorts. Christian would have been sad about Miss Laura leaving, but I think he was more upset that, she was taking the phone with her.